right to it.
Uncovering music by new and up-and-coming great artists.
The Grammy goes to
The next big thing. This is Untouched Melodies.
Talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to him.
Well, hello. It is another Untouched Melodies back to back, night after night this week because I am very excited to have a very talented individual who is from the band Ashes To Omens, James Branton. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, thanks for having me. Doing very well, very well.
Awesome. So this is a little bit unusual because you don't have the video this evening for technical reasons, but it's a really awesome picture. So that's all I care about. So we'll get straight into it. You are in Georgia, is that correct?
Yep, Athens, Georgia.
All right, awesome. So tell me, James, listening to your music, I'm just intrigued by just the journey that you've gone on from the very beginning. But what got you into music initially?
Um, well, I think growing up in the South, um, there was this propensity, to go to church and you know be a part of youth choirs and things like that. And I've always sang in some capacity.
Yeah.
I sung in church as a young kid, and then I was in chorus, throughout, my grade school years and my middle school years, and I stopped singing, for a little while, but I've always wanted to be involved in music in some capacity. And just, feels like the most honest thing that you can do, is to express yourself through music. So that's kind of what got me in. It's just, it feels like home.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people get into music and say that it's just the most comfortable place to be. What do you, as far as like the music influences and everything, how young did you start getting into this kind of, was it always rock or was it like, did you have other genres that you were interested in the beginning?
No, I wish it was always rock. Um, I was not allowed to listen to that kind of music growing up. It was very much off limits. So I grew up listening to um, Southern gospel and bluegrass and country, and I hated every bit of it. Um, and then I want to say, and maybe I was like 12, 13 years old. I got a copy of, back when vinyl was a thing. I got this double vinyl American Graffiti soundtrack, the old movie that George Lucas put out years and years ago, and it had all these various like classic rocks, like actual classic rock songs on it, and it kind of opened my eyes to different types of music. And then when I was 16, I got a job, and I drove from my first job down the street to like a local, I think it was like a local Walmart actually, and I went straight to the music section, and I picked up a copy of AC/DC Live, and I was like, I want to see what this is about. And from that point on, I was hooked on rock.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. My first experience of rock, I was explaining my brother has always been a bit of a rocker. He tried to start his own band. It was pretty successful, and then it was just that time where every kind of '90s kind of band was all trying to do Nirvana or whatever,
Sure,
um, and it's my influence and my love for rock came from just watching him, and then like he was the first person to introduce Korn. I remember it was the Adidas album or Adidas album
sure,
that he let me listen to it first, and I was just sitting there going, "What is this? This is mental! Like I love it." But there's so much more to rock than just like banging your head and doing all this grunge stuff. There's
sure.
there's an art to it and there's a skill to it, and it sounds amazing. Like people, it's like some genres like rap and other genres that are just kind of like there because they're not mainstream. They just get a lot of flack. And do you feel that sometimes when you're creating your music, or is that just you haven't seen that part of it?
Oh, I actually, that's actually happened to us several times since we've been around. Um, we actually caught a lot of flack from the most recent single, um, because of the imagery that we use,
Mm.
for the single itself. We had several people ask us um, if we supported violence against women, as a result of the single image. And several of us stopped and looked at one another when this was brought to us and was like, you realize what's happening in this picture, right? And they were like, yeah, we don't, that doesn't look good. I was like, she is smiling in this single image. Like, we need to sit down and have a real conversation with, about what's happening here with these people. And then another, guitarist that's with us, his girlfriend and his parents are, very, very conservative people. And they said, hey, we need to talk to you about this single image. And the response was, hey, well, this was kind of put into the works as I come into the band where they were already working on the song. And they were like, yeah, but this what's happening here? And he had to explain what was happening, in the single image to his girlfriend and to his mother and to his grandmother.
Mm.
And it was quite hilarious on our part. How awkward was that conversation, uh,
Yeah, I'm sure.
with these people? Um, but yeah, there's definitely been times where we've caught flack, for things that I talk about in the lyrics. The imagery that we use, and all of it is just us just being honest. And
Yeah,
some people
yeah.
take offense to that.
It feels a lot like I mean, if you think back, there's been movies done and everything, but when um rock first came out, like when there was when Elvis started doing all
Yeah,
his stuff, like there was like, oh my gosh, that's not Jesus stuff. And then Ray Charles did the same thing. It went through the same kind of
sure,
stuff, just shunned for what people's perception and belief system was based around his music. But the reality is that people love it. Like it's a great genre, and it's sad sometimes when people kind of pick up on an image and they're just like completely misreading it just because of
yeah,
I guess it's miseducation. Let's be honest, it's not perception. It's if you're looking at it correctly. I've looked at this song all day because I've been listening
sure,
to this song. It's one of the songs that really just is awesome that you've done so far, but also your most recent. And like it's, I mean, it is what it is. It's just
yeah,
an image,
yeah. It's really black and white.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Um,
I mean, people are, well, I will say this. Um, we made it. We dropped a teaser, yesterday, on social media, about something new and upcoming that's happening. And if people are on the edge of their seat, about that song, yeah, what we're about to announce, um, is probably gonna light some fires on some people, and it's not intentional, but, um, the
I mean,
next thing that we're about to do is gonna open some eyes.
yeah, but it's not. You see, the thing is that if you think about what else is out there, like,
Mhm.
y- I mean, not putting your music down at all because I love your music, but it's not like it's not the worst. I mean, are you kidding me?
No,
Like, there is so much worse out
no,
there.
yeah.
Like, there's just, I mean, Marilyn Manson. I mean, Jesus Christ, his imagery was off the charts. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
And that's just one part of it. Like corn, same kind of thing. Like, um, y-
absolutely.
so I just I feel like there's a lot of, again, it's history repeating itself really. But
Oh, absolutely.
so getting back to like starting out and everything, the first single that is on any streaming platform is The Conflict Within.
Right.
Um that's actually number 5 because I actually love the begin. I love the journey, and
Mhm.
the start of every journey is something that needs to be cherished. And I feel like this single is actually, when you listen to this single and then go straight into your new single, it's amazing the growth that you've had as artists, and
Thank you.
it's an amazing comparative. But um, what was the basis of this track, and just kind of tell me a little bit about the creation of it.
With conflict, we wrote conflict about 4 years ago, and it was a very early iteration of the band. It was the original members that was in the band. We were still a four-piece at the time,
Mm,
and I want to say the original riff got brought to us by the first guitarist that played with us, who at the time was going through a divorce, and a lot of the songs that we write, um, I tend to play a lot on double meanings, because
right.
a song, what a song might mean to me and what the lyrics might say to me, very likely in most cases is going to mean something totally different to you.
Right.
And sometimes there's a line, and most of the times they don't.
Right.
So with conflict, he was going through that, and it was somewhat damaging emotionally for him. So he had this passionate idea about the music, and at the same time I was also going through my own journey, because I was really struggling with alcohol. We're really starting to struggle with alcohol,
Mm,
and then also at the same time, our other members were dealing with these internal conflicts that they were having with their families. And so the day that we actually debuted this song, we played this benefit for a couple of kids that had passed away.
mm,
There's this fundraiser in our town. I don't know if you guys ever did anything like this, but in Georgia, what country people do for fun in most cases is go hang out and cook out by a river and just
right.
chill with their feet in the water. And there's a really big river. We're near Athens, and these kids were playing in the river, and one of them got pulled down the river, and this other kid dove in after it,
Mm.
to try to save him, and they both died.
Oh,
And so they brought them out. It was this huge service. So they were doing this big fundraiser for these kids' families, and so we played it at that, and it felt fitting,
mm,
um, because the song itself is about struggling with these internal conflicts, and moving on and growing, just in general. and
yeah.
and and so that was, it spoke to that family, um, because they knew that they had these conflicts happening in their lives, and it was tough. I can't imagine what that might be like
No.
to lose a kid, but not only did that, but to lose your kid and know your kid died a hero, trying to save
Mm.
someone else. So that's a conflict that they were having to deal with, and then also the band itself, and so that whole time period, it really is encapsulated in that song with internal conflicts that we were all dealing with at the time.
Yeah, I mean, wow. That's a backstory and a half right there. But to be
Yeah,
honest, it's something that we're going to touch on a little in a minute. But it's a big piece of music creation as far as just where it all comes from. Mental health is huge. Like, and
yeah,
just talking about like the fact that you played this and it was appropriate at this kind of event. The reality is that n- I mean, you couldn't wish this on your worst enemy, but the
no,
conflict within is seems fitting because like you said, you're just kind of you're torn between, oh my god, he was trying to save someone's life, but also you have this catastrophic event that has happened as well. But um so anyway, we're gonna play a little bit of this song just to kind of give people a taste of your first venture into the music world, and this one is called Conflict Within. I mean, if that's not like appropriate for, I mean, Jesus, it was like you wrote the whole song for that event. To be fair,
Yeah,
listening to the lyrics, it's what I love about this track, and while it's a very poignant message, is it's very it sounds very old school rock. Like it's very like 90s kind of rock, and I don't know if you're kind of feeling this, but I certainly feel this right now. Um it's rock right now is kind of samey. Like that mainstream stuff is just very samey. Like
right,
it doesn't sound original. It sounds like we're all trying to just keep everyone happy, PC
right,
world and all that kind of stuff, right? And this is just very it reminds me of that the 90s rock that was so popular, and it's just a really good track. So
sure. Thank you.
so that is 5 on Phil's top 5, which is what I do on every episode. So moving on. The journey that you took in your music, obviously, you kind of touched on it just a second ago. Do you feel as you go through these tracks, are you writing with people? Like, is this a joint effort, or who does most of the writing in your group?
Um, for the most part, we typically do it one of two ways. Normally all the lyrics are written by me. Our bass player Chris is a very good lyricist, and he's helped with a few of the songs that we've written. But in most cases, um, if the music is written by all of us, and the lyrics is mostly written by me, and that's really strictly just because of circumstance. Two of our guys just don't really feel like they've got really anything lyrically to say in most cases. Sometimes they'll come
Mm,
to an idea and they'll be like, "Hey, let's do something like about this. Here's an idea," and it'll strike a muse, and we'll sit down and we'll start jamming on something, and something will come to me, and they're like, "Oh, we like that. Let's run with that." Um, but then other times, there's been times where I've just been sitting outside, like, looking around and like thinking about life, and pull out a notepad and start jotting stuff down.
mm.
So it really it's really a mixed bag, but mostly the music is written by all of us, and the lyrics is mostly me.
That's awesome. It's one of the questions that I love to ask is what comes first, the music or the lyrics? But it seems like you said, it's kind of a mixed bag for you guys because you could
Yeah,
find your muse in anywhere, and you could just literally sit down and be like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do today."
sure.
Um, moving on to number 4. I absolutely love, and I say this because it is just an amazing track, but it is a cover track. It's the Another Brick in the Wall, the
Okay,
rock cover.
sure.
It's such a good track. Like, what made you like? Tell me about doing covers first of all, because for some, for me anyway, I don't understand. Like, are you having to contact people? Are you having to like ask for the rights? Like, how does that happen?
We so there's to answer both of those questions. So the first question about covers, we love cover songs. We want to play songs that, if people have never heard of us before, and we can grab their attention by playing "Kickstart My Heart" by Motley Crue, or "Devil" by Shinedown, or "Another
Right.
Brick in the Wall" by Floyd. It can get their attention and say, "Oh, I know that band. I know that song. They're playing that. Let me check them out." And then we'll hit them
Mm,
with one of our songs. And then,
right.
it's a lot of the bands in this area, and a lot of the bands we've met do that sort of thing to kind of alternate between covers and originals. And then every now and then bands can break out, play strictly originals or do cover band things.
Mm,
Um, this version of this song um, is a combination of all three parts of Another Brick in the Wall. And I don't know how this happened, but I want to say I was listening to our classic rock station, coming home from work one day, and Another Brick in the Wall just happened to come on, and I don't know why, but sometimes you hear things differently,
mm,
and this one time I heard that song differently, and I said, wait, why did they do that? Why didn't they do this instead?
Mm.
And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. What if we could take that and smash that with this? And I called up the guitarist that helped, write Conflict. And I said, hey, man, have you ever considered doing this before? And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, let's take this and put this here, and then take this part of the song and put this here. And he's like, are you talking about mashing up like 15 minutes worth of music? I was like, yeah, 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 but like down to like 4.5, 5 minutes. Let's make a combo of all three of them and try to like build it in some capacity to make it a little bit more epic, but in our own way. And for a while, that was our most prolific song. We were ending our
It
shows with
sounds
that
amazing,
song.
dude. It sounds
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you.
I mean, I hate to steal a line from the show that seems to have controlled the pop charts for so long, but American Idol and all these guys, they always tell their artists or people that are aspiring to be famous, make it your own. You made it your own. Like it's,
Thank you.
I mean, while I know the track, I don't know the track. I know the
Sure.
lyrics. I can sing along. I can jam out and I can understand it, but by no stretch is it the same track. So it's really really cool. And so I'm gonna play a little bit of that, and we'll move on from there. But this is definitely something to be proud of. And it to be fair, it's not surprising that it's one of your most popular because, I mean, number one, smart on your part, one of the most popular rock songs of its time.
Sure.
And when people search that track, you're gonna be up the top there whenever they search it. But on top of that, it gets like it really grabs your attention. It's definitely different. So we'll give this a listen, and we'll come back. All right, here we go. Days flown across the ocean, leaving just a memory, a snapshot in the family album. Daddy, what else did you leave for me? Daddy, what you leave behind for me? All in all, you were just another brick in the wall. All in all, you were just another brick in the wall. I don't need no arms around me. I don't need no drugs to calm me. I have seen the writing on the wall. I don't think I need anything at all. No, I don't think I need anything at all. I want to listen to the whole song, I'll be honest with you, because it's just so good.
Thank
But
you.
I tried to get it as much of that as possible because it is, it grabs your attention, but also it's very unique in its styling. And I think, that was brave. Like, did that worry you when you were covering? Does it ever worry you when you're covering someone else's track and doing that kind of stuff?
Oh, that song terrified the shit out of me, man. Um, I was really scared about putting that song out there. Um, and I said that at the time we were signed with an independent label out of Tennessee, and I called him about it as soon as we wrote it, and I was like, hey, I need you to listen to this. And they loved it. Um, but our concern was is Floyd fans are very divided, because Floyd itself is divided,
Mm,
and we were concerned that there was going to be significant backlash because it wasn't super duper heavy like Korn had did it, and it also wasn't uh, very like down the line, true to the original, 3 part that masterpiece that Floyd released years ago.
right.
And we knew that there were a lot of covers of this song, and we didn't want to get lost in the mix, but we also didn't want people to be like, "Man, this is garbage." Um, and so we were hoping that when we put it out there, that people were going to latch onto it. Unfortunately, one of our biggest influences on this song was Matt Washburn, at Lead Belly Studios where we tracked it, and he said, "No, man, this is good." He says, it's probably not going to get you a gold record, but this is a solid song, and you guys need to put this out here, and people will like it." And we, like I said, we closed our show with it for 3.5 years because people liked it so well.
So yeah, I mean it's just a great track, but this journey that you're on, like bands, individual artists have less of a worry, I would say, and this isn't putting any individual artist down, but they're worrying about their own enthusiasm, their own drive, their own willingness to be part of something. You talked about when your band was four and all this kind of stuff. Um, and it's something that my brother went through as well. Like life happens. If you're not making tons of money or enough money to support yourself,
Right.
it can be a struggle. Is that something that you've gone through? Like, because, bands, for me, being in a band is much more difficult than being an individual artist because of the fact that there is so many variables.
Sure.
Like your drummer all of a sudden has a baby and he's not going on tour anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
um something else happens for another band member and then you're down two people and now you got to find people that aren't necessarily built on the same message that you started the band with, and then
Hmm.
you lose that kind of traction. Have you gone through that? Like what's that journey been like with the band?
Man, it's honestly, I wish I had saved to it a document. Um, the number of updates that I've ever made to our bio as a result of that kind of journey,
Mm,
because we've went through, I would say, maybe 10 members over the past, June will be 7 years that we've been together.
wow.
And the original drummer is back with us now after he took a 4-year sabbatical. And the bass player has been me and the bass player this whole time. We took a year off to kind of regroup and rebrand, and um, we've been through some really tough challenges. We went through, went on tours, and we've lost members prior to going on a tour. We've
Oh
lost
wow.
members after tours were booked because they didn't want to go on tour. We've lost members because um, they didn't like the imagery that we were using in singles.
Mm,
Um, so it's been really really tough. And I will say this, um, when you touched on the money thing, Chris and I, we've been through thick and thin. My bass player, and I love him to death. He's like a brother to me. And a lot of the stuff that we've did over the years when we weren't actively playing music, trying to get money for the band, is we
mm,
self-financed. And it's really tough, when you have to work a full-time day job and you have to treat your band like a full-time job too.
yeah.
But one of those you're getting paid and the other one you're not. um, one is sucking up all your money and the other one's actually giving you money. So for a while there, I think our first couple of years we were doing 50 to 70 shows a year, and we were actually making really good money. And
Mm,
so we would put that back in the band and we would grow. And um, I don't think there's ever been a single instance where any of us has ever taken any money home. It would be great to do that, but at the end of the day, I'm not playing music to get rich. Um, I'm doing it as a form of expression and
yeah.
hope that people fall in love with our music along the way. And if something amazing does happen, fantastic. But if not, if those people can take the message home from these songs and leave singing one of our songs in their car on the way home, that to me like
That's
is
it right
worth
there.
more. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. And that's literally what this is about, and why I created this podcast is, I've had I have several podcasts, but the reason why I wanted to focus on music is because of artists like you who deserve to be heard, like that are out there just grinding. And yeah, okay, you go town to town and stuff like that, but this is this can hit thousands of people really quickly. And so,
sure.
like, and the other side of it too is the music business is so saturated that I feel the connection is the key now. It's not just about making great music. You making great music is a part of it, but
Yeah,
resonating with your music and resonating with the individuals that are creating that music also bridges that connection as well, where people start going, "Hey, yeah, no, I like this. James is amazing. Like he's built on this message, and I love listening to what he has to say in his music." And so it's that as well that makes this so much more enjoyable to promote, because I believe in that message that, you sit there and you, like, I've had several artists on here, and like afterwards people hit me up, "Oh my god, this guy was amazing, like what he was talking about, and I would never have listened otherwise." And I was like,
mm.
well, that therein lies my point. So um yeah, I believe in that 100%, and I truly agree with you. It's a struggle, but boy, oh boy, have you made that struggle look so easy. So fair play to
Thank you.
you. So we're gonna get into this next one, number 3 on my list. Nothing to lose. So, tell me a little bit about that track.
That actually kind of surprised me. I was expecting something else to be number three.
Uh huh.
Um, Nothing to Lose was the last song that we written with the old iteration of the band.
Okay.
Um, that song came out in 2002 and was our last single that we had written with those guys before two of the members moved on to other adventures.
Okay.
And after this song dropped, we ended up, taking that year off to kind of catch our breath and figure out, well, not even a year, maybe that's 6 months, and figure out what we wanted to do with the next part, the next steps of the band. And so, Nothing to Lose was just something that we sat down and we put together. The guitarist had a riff that he wanted to use, and he sat down, he showed it to us, and I really struggled to come up with an idea or an identity for
Mm.
this song.
Mm.
And I want to say that I was sitting down with one of the guitarists one night, and we were just kind of thumbing through Reddit, and we heard and come across a story where um, this woman caught her husband cheating, and went on an absolute rampage in this place. And I said, "Man, that would be a killer song idea." And he goes, "What's that? Like a rampage?" I was like, "Yeah, just like a woman just going on a rampage." And he says, "All right, what about?" So we just started jotting ideas down, and that's how Nothing to Lose came about.
I mean, it's a great track. It is a great. So when you were writing this, did you know that the other band members were leaving at that point?
No, and actually, we actually won. We played this Battle of the Bands out here, and we won. And
With this track?
no, not well. We played this track
Right.
at the show, but I want to say a month after the song was released, we
Oh
played
boy.
this Battle of the Bands, and we won it. And the winner got to play the city festival, where 4 to 5 thousand people end up coming through,
Nice.
and it was a great payday. And so they take really good care of the band that plays. And a month after we won, um, one of the members and I got into a pretty firm disagreement about the direction of the band,
Oh boy.
and I stood my ground. I stood where I was since I started the band, and I didn't want to change that. I wanted to keep it, the way it was, and they did not. And so as a result, they said, I think when we play this festival, it's probably going to be my last show with you guys. And I was like, all right, good luck, man. And so they
I
he went
can
on.
respect that. I mean, depending on the argument, I wasn't obviously not being part of it, but I can respect if people don't necessarily want to be on the same journey.
Mhm.
Because growth, we talk about growth in music, but growth as artists, sometimes you just grow in different directions. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I truly believe that like bands are the. I mean, look at every kind of band, boy band, rock band, you name it, right? You know, they all break up. Like the best ones have broken up, and then now for some reason old boy bands come back together. And they're just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's weird, but like you know the differences and the creative direction and what they feel is right. It's an opinion. It's
Sure.
everyone's entitled to their opinion. But if they're that vehemently like supporting that opinion and not willing to kind of waver on it, then you know what? Sometimes it's best because you don't
Sure.
want someone being half-mast on anything.
Right.
But this track is definitely not half-mast. So we're gonna give this a listen. Nothing to lose. I love the fact that the layout where you got the idea is amazing. So knowing that now, listening to it is quite awesome. So we're gonna give this a listen, and we'll be right back.
She knew what she was doing from the swing of the hips. The message she was sending from her blood red lips had every single person at her fingertips. Do you feel me? Do you feel me? The temperature was rising from inside of the place, and she could feel the music moving through her veins. They knew that they would never ever be the same. Do you feel me? Do you feel me? That feeling's burning up inside. Can you feel it now? It starts to well up. Gotta get out somehow. Let's get it out. Look at her go. She's hitting me with moves I've never seen before. All the boys are screaming, girls are shaking in their boots. They say that the queen rises to the top, but what's she gonna do when she can't be stopped? You better stop running if she starts gunning for you. You've never seen anything like this queen. When she's got nothing to lose.
The guitar is phenomenal. Like
Thank you.
I love it, and I'm a fan of rock anyway, and I love it when my brother does it as well because he's a lead guitarist and he just rocking out. It's like a pride thing as well, like that's my bro, and it's just amazing.
Sure.
But hearing that, it's just so incredible. Like just everything you just melt that microphone. I'm surprised that you. I'm sure your bills for equipment are crazy as well because
Yeah.
it's just nuts. But I really love that track. That is a really cool track. So moving on to number two. Two is gonna probably surprise you as well if that surprised you. To be honest, um, two two for me is War Cry, bro.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about Warcry and tell me, like, obviously this is, the journey of the band and all this kind of stuff that you've gone on. I'm sure, I don't know if this shocks you or whether you think Warcry should be up there. And
Mm.
maybe we'll ask you what your opinions are on the songs afterwards. But Warcry for me is just awesome. It's just your tone, your vocals, like the musicianship, everything of Warcry is just awesome. So tell me a little bit about that.
Thank you. Um, so Warcry also was written by myself and the first guitarist that was in the band. And at that time, I was really, really struggling with anxiety and depression, and it was really starting to come through. When I first started the band, I had dealt with thyroid cancer,
Okay.
and as a result of the thyroid cancer, um, a lot of the hormones in my brain weren't functioning properly.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this extremely elevated prolactin hormone, and it was causing um, a level of anxiety and panic in my body and depression like unlike anything I'd ever had before.
Mm-hmm.
And the guitarist had, like I said before, was had been going through a divorce and dealing with that, and he came to me today, that day with with actually some lyrics, and he says, "Hey man, what do you think about this?" And it was part of the first verse of War Cry, and I was like, "Man, this is like exactly what I'm dealing with right now." And I had talked to him a lot about it, um, and so we sat down and we started working on that song. And initially we had wrote it on an acoustic, and so I started doing the melody acoustically, and he says, "Well, sing it like that, but let's throw the full band and just go full on and see how it sounds." And that's what you ended up getting
Wow.
on this, was what I would have originally done for an acoustic. And then
I'd
when we
love to hear the
actually,
acoustic version as well, to be honest. That would be amazing.
well,
I
that's so funny, yeah, because we actually ended up doing the song acoustically, and I completely changed everything about how I sung it. And people were like, "What in the world is that? Like, what is this? You need to do this version more often." It's like, well, this is even the original acoustic, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great track, and what I love about where your stuff, where all your music is coming from, you know, it kind of just our first point about imagery. It makes it irrelevant. You're everything that you're coming from. Like you're talking about stuff about thyroid cancer and stuff. Like this is real life stuff. People go through this.
Right.
You know, this isn't like devil worship or any of that stuff that
No,
people seem
man.
to think that rock is all based on or whatever. It's just
Right.
crazy. But this song is so good. It's just something you should definitely be proud of. But it's
Thank you.
also like for you to kind of bare your soul and kind of let us know where this is coming from and everything. I just hope people resonate with this stuff a little bit more,
Sure.
knowing the message and knowing where it's coming from. Because, like I said, it's for me, Warcry is up there. I would definitely like to hear the acoustic version. So maybe that's an option to release
Sure.
that at some point. But like, it is a great track. It's a phenomenal track. So we're gonna give
Thank
that a
you.
listen, and then number one is also coming up. So we'll get to that as well.
I have fought, stayed alive. I don't run, I do not deny. I have prayed, never knew. Won't you save me? This is my war cry. This is my war cry. It's time that I speak like I've never spoken before. It's time for me to weep because I've been starving for so long. Is this all a dream? Have I been awake all this time? I'm taking back control. You're no longer changing my mind, and I owe you no explanation. Please take this into consideration. I have more. I am more. I don't run. I do not deny. I have prayed. Never knew. Won't you save me? This is my war cry.
I had to wait for the next chorus. I could not do that. That was just yeah. No, it's such a good track, dude. And listening to that right there, just I'm like, how would this even sound acoustically? Holy shit, this is like so good. It's
Thank
so
you.
good. Love it. Absolutely love it. And you know what? Credit to you, sir. No one would know what that's about. No one would ever know. And I think that's what's great about music. I mean, music's like religion. You get what you want out of it. You
Right.
know, and on top of that, like we I say it on this podcast all the time. Um, music is to everyone something different. Like it can be a wedding song, it can be the song that you lost your virginity to, it can be like it can be the first dance song at a prom or anything. It can be literally anything. It can be a funeral song.
Sure.
It's incredible what music can be, but the message that you're creating in your music and what a lot of artists do, it's just amazing. I love going through the tracks. I love hearing people's music, and you are no exception to that. That song's amazing. So
Thank you.
well done to you. So on to number one. It's no surprise, and it's not rigged. I promise. It is your newest track, and I absolutely adore it. It is so far from what you've done before. I don't know if it's because it's a new people around you, if
Mhm.
there's growth in your writing or what has happened, but tell me about Feed Me More because it is just incredible. Like it is absolute. Like if we go back and we listened to The Conflict Within, like I said, and go straight up to Feed Me More, we'd be like, is this the same band? Is this Are we listening to the same band? What's going on?
Sure.
It's crazy.
Sure. So this single actually is our bass player, Chris, myself, our original drummer, and then it also has two guitarists that one of which was in previously with us when we released Nothing to Lose, but never actually got the opportunity to track anything with us before
Mm,
he took some time away. So this is that guitarist, and then a new guitarist, Trip Cooper, that we've got playing with us. Um, and so Feed Me More is the first of three singles that we're actually releasing. Um, we had an opportunity to speak with producer Michael Gavares, who had been wanting to work with me and Chris for about a year and a half,
mm,
and we took time off and we weren't able to book anything with him. And so all last year, all of 2023, Chris and I really struggled to find musicians with the same ideologies about music that we really wanted to go for. We tried rebranding under a different name. We
mm.
tried going to different styles. We tried all these different things, and we was like, "This is just not working. Why is this not? Why is this not working?" And Chris, come to me one day and he says, we just need to stay true to ourselves and build on what we already have. We don't really need to rebrand. We've worked for 5 years on this at the time, or 6, yeah, 5 years on this at the time, and we just need to stay true to ourselves. And so we reached out to the previous guitarist that worked with us when he left, and he says, "Yeah, I'd love to come back and play with you guys." After we had already tried out like 6 different guitarists at that point, and we started working on "Feed Me More." And so we went in the studio with Michael and Casey and Trip and announced that Casey was back playing with us on drums. And this is what came out of it. And
It's
like I said, this
incredible.
is one of three singles that we're going to be releasing over the next couple of months, including a music video that we're going to be shooting on Tuesday. So
Nice. There we
it's
go.
we're
There we
excited.
go. You're gonna have to be on camera for that. Sorry about that,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, for sure.
um, but Feed Me More is just it's such a good track, and I'm proud and happy to feature it on the show as your new single. We're gonna play a little bit of it and Feed Me More. This is just I'm honored. Thank you so much for allowing me to play this on the show. It's just so good. Here we go.
I see something inside your eyes, baby, like a lion in wait.
So, I mean, way to announce yourself right back. I mean, you
Thank
took a
you.
break. You've done the stuff. You've tried to find a mold that maybe wasn't your own, and then I mean, if it felt like just a I want to be as politically correct as possible, but it's like an fu kind of. We're here. We're doing what we do best. This is it. This
Yeah,
this just wow. Like the guitar, like just the start of it. It just grabs you like by the throat almost. It's like, hey, listen to this. Like this is amazing.
sure. Thank you so much.
Where does this like? I mean, what is this about? Like, what is this whole like? Feed me more. Is it like feed me more of what we were doing? Because it certainly feels that way.
So it's interesting that you ask, because that's exactly what had to be explained to the people about that single image. But um, so this song and the songs that are coming forward are going to be on our new album that we're tentatively calling Vices and Vessels.
Okay.
Um, every song on the album is a double entendre, is double meanings, and so this is the first, obviously that we've released on it. And ironically enough, we look at this song as it could be both a vice for someone, but it also could be a vessel for something really good. And so my initial thoughts when we went into writing this song was, hey guys, I want to write a song about rough sex. That's it's really black and white. I'd been wanting to write one for a while, and we wrote a couple of different songs, and it just was not it.
It
And
certainly doesn't feel like a rough sex song, but it's so good, dude. Oh my
thank
god.
you, thank you. Um, and then a couple guys had some ideas, so we threw some things in there. I was like, okay, this is the double entendre in this song, and we were going to leave it to people to figure out what that is, and if it aligns, with what our view of it was. And um, and at the end of the day, this is, like you said, this is our first song back, and I feel like we come out of the gate swinging here
Yeah,
because
you do.
um, that's the reason that we lost those members before, um, is because we wanted to continue pumping out music that we were happy with and we were proud of,
Mm,
and that person just wanted to release music just to be different. And when you try to do things different just to be different, it's not honest. And to us,
yeah.
this song feels like us, and it feels honest, and that's what we were going for.
I love it, dude. It's a crazy track. I mean, not even kidding you. Like when the first 3 seconds of the song are this, like what do you expect is gonna happen? Like it's just gonna it's melt your face off time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you vocally like not knowing that you've had a break, not knowing now I know this. The context, it's almost like I'm back. Like
Right.
it just sounds like I am putting 150% into this, and it's just you're incredible,
Thank
incredibly
you.
talented. Well done.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you a really tough question now because we were talking about this earlier and it kind of shocked you, and it always shocks people when I do my top five. To be fair, but would you have changed where this top five would have been? What were you expecting from this top five?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting Nothing to Lose. I was expecting Let the Devil Loose instead of
That
Nothing
is,
to
to be
Lose.
fair, it was between those two tracks. If I'm being honest, like I do
Uh,
love that track as well. Like it is, I'm gonna do it as well just because it deserves to be heard. But so this is Let the Devil Loose here. So I had to do it justice. I had to get the chorus out there. Sorry to cut you
Sure.
off so quickly. You just said, "Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like." You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna play it. To be fair, being completely transparent and honest with you, there's not one song that you've done that isn't a good song. I
Thank you.
just have 5 that I go to on a consistent basis, and they're my 5.
Sure.
But to be fair, like I'm just excited, dude. Like this is, like I said, you're the first rock band I've had on here. And you don't disappoint. I'm excited for the future. What is coming other than those 3? Like you got album, you got all that kind of stuff. Or are you talking about tours or anything yet?
So you guys will, if you follow Ashes to Omens, whether the Facebook page or Instagram, on Tuesday we're going to be updating some data on our page that will launch to the fans, and
Cool.
then on Friday, May 31st, you're going to get the first full details of what we're about to do. And it's exciting, and we're
Awesome.
hoping that it's gonna catch on like this did. So I
I
think
don't doubt
that
it, dude. I don't doubt it. Creatively speaking, I can feel the growth and everything that you're doing right now, and the conviction you have behind your message now is so huge. I know there's been some wavering. I know that there's been some struggles, but it sounds like you're even more committed to your cause right now. So I don't doubt that anything else coming is going to be amazing. So that's just
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
So to follow you, give us your social media tags, website, all that kind of stuff, so we can before we finish out.
Yeah. So you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Ashes to Omens official, and we're on all social media outlets. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter under Ashes to Omens official, and then you can check us out on YouTube. Just type in Ashes to Omens. We're the only ones there, so very unique handle, very unique band name. So
Yes, very much
anywhere
so.
you go.
Very much so. And to be fair, those of us who, well, I don't think there is anyone that doesn't use streaming apps at the moment. Ashes to Omens is easy to find. Very easy to find. And you can find them on Spotify, Apple Music, the whole stuff. So
Yep.
it is incredible music. I encourage you all to go out and listen to the full tracks. Obviously, I was only able to play a couple of minutes each track, or a minute and a half each track. But definitely worth a listen. I'm just so grateful for you to be on the show, sir. Thank you so much for gracing
Thanks.
us with your presence and being so open and honest about all the tracks that you created and your journey thus far. I'm excited to see more of you, and maybe you might visit the Pacific Northwest, and I might actually get to see you guys live. That
Yeah,
would be awesome
yeah.
too.
We have fans, and we have a lot of people. Our first album actually was mixed and mastered from American Music up in Seattle. So I've got people up there. So
Cool.
we definitely do need to go out west.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Portland's where I'm at, but I'll drive a few hours. I don't mind.
Nice.
We'll make a trip for it. But thank you so much, James. It was just an absolute honor to have you on the show.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. It's another amazing episode of Untouched Melodies. James Branton from Ashes to Omens was our guest this evening. I'll be back again next week with another amazing episode. But until then, definitely go check out James and his band Ashes to Omens. It's well worth a listen. And stay safe. Thanks.
This is brought to you by Unscripted Productions. Thanks for being a part of the journey, and be sure to follow us for more info to get new episodes and more great content. And of course, rate this show on your favorite podcast listening platform and leave us a 5-star review. See you here next time.